What happens to Rishabh Pant's cricketing career at this point? Of course, he's stable and he's fine, but number of injuries that he now has to deal with. What really happens to his upcoming tournaments?
Right. Navina, I mean, the first impression one got after looking at the wreckage of his car going up in flames, one was fearing the worst in terms of what the future would hold for cricketer as promising as Rishabh Pant, who has many good years ahead of him as far as his international career is concerned. But now, in terms of the information that we're receiving from the hospital, what we're getting to know through sources, he's pretty much stable. There are no serious injuries to him. And there are injuries that can be treated. And at the moment, you can even classify some of those injuries as minor injuries. So as far as his cricketing career is concerned, I don't think any of the injuries will have a major impact on that. Yes, the BCCI has been tracking. The BCCI has made it very clear that they've been in touch with Rishabh Pant. They're monitoring what's happening with him. Also, that the BCCI is going to provide any sort of support that is needed by the cricketer. So that's also heartening to know. So two pieces of news which will give a lot of relief to cricket fans. One, that the nature of injury isn't very serious, and the other, that the BCCI is providing him any kind of support that he's looking for. Just looking in terms of a ligament tear. Usually a ligament tear, we'll again have to wait in exact terms or medical terms of how that ligament tear has happened, or how crucial or how deep that injury is. We'll have to wait for that. But ligament tears usually take a few months to heal. Meanwhile, Rishabh Pant had recently been dropped from white ball cricket. So India's next series up is against Sri Lanka. They're playing 3 T20Is, they're playing 3 ODIs, and Rishabh wasn't part of that. He's been very crucial in the longer format, that is Test cricket, but that series is still a distance away. So maybe, any worries about whether he'll be able to play those series or important Test series, I think there's enough time for that. And probably with what we're getting to know, Rishabh might just be fit and available for those series that are yet to come. But I say that with a lot of caution, because we're still waiting to know the exact nature of his injury at the moment.
Yeah, and it's very tragic that just on the eve of New Year's, he wanted to spend time with his family members and this happened. That's very tragic. He was headed to meet his family. Would you know on what purpose he was going home? Is this his annual affair that he spends time New Year's with his family members? And also the make of the car, Nikhil, a lot of speculation on what Mercedes make is this.
Firstly, Rishabh has been one of the most busiest Indian cricketers. As it is, the Indian cricket calendar is chock-a-block. There are hardly any gaps. And even then, if you've seen a few players being rotated, Rishabh has been one of those rare players that's not been rotated. So he's been on international duty non-stop for the last 2 years that I can think of. So clearly didn't have that time to go back home. We know he belongs to Roorkee. He moved from Roorkee when he was a young 11-year-old, 12-year-old. He moved from Roorkee to Delhi to get better opportunities, to play in a better place, so that he can make through the progress in Indian cricket and then reach the highest standard. So this is how, Roorkee is his hometown. He spent his childhood there, but moved to Delhi at a very young age to pursue his cricketing career. On and off, whenever he gets time, as I mentioned, he hardly got any time in the last 2 years or so. This is probably the first break he got, that too after he was left out of the Indian white ball squad in the series versus Sri Lanka that starts just on 3rd. So maybe he thought this was that first break that he's got in a few years, is when he can really travel. Most of the other times he's usually in Delhi, which he calls his home now. But probably it's time now to meet his extended family, his mother, all of whom stay in Roorkee. So he maybe took out that time to spend the New Year's there and was traveling. And probably now questions are also being raised in terms of what time he traveled there. He's expected to have left Delhi around 1 o'clock, and probably that's been the major cause of that accident. He himself, by his own admission, that's what we gotten to know from the cops, that Rishabh Pant himself, by his own admission, said that he had dozed off at around 5 a.m. because he had left Delhi at about 1ish. Maybe this is that one break that he was looking forward to his family. Didn't quite turn out the way that he must have planned.